it's Gianna Lama into Crypto, where we keep you in the loop on all the latest trends and news on crypto and blockchain technology. Together, we're building a crypto movement that fights for climate justice and economic empowerment. Today, we have a very special guest on our show from Tel Aviv, Israel. We have Duan from Sayfer Cybersecurity. He's the CEO, and he's going to talk a little bit about his company. His company specializes in safer cybersecurity, on different solutions in consulting. And he's going to talk more about how he makes the web more safe and how he's using blockchain technology and smart contracts. So you can wave hello to the audience near.
Hey guys, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Gianna.
Nice to meet you too. So we have one question first that we ask all of our guests before we dive into all the other questions. So I want to ask you, what's the first word that comes to mind when you hear the word crypto and why?
I think the first word is new era. It's a lot of people focus on the technology term of crypto. But in my opinion, the much more exciting stuff relating to crypto and Web3 and everything that evolving around this is new era of people that looking for different financial systems, and blockchain is just the way to do it. There can be other ways, and for the same people, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. And I think it's exciting.
It's definitely a big shift, and there's so many more people adopting it. I think just in the past year, you've been hearing just the everyday person talking about crypto, becoming more aware of it.
Yeah, and more protocols trying to replace big companies in a very effective and creative ways. I think this is a really shift in the economy as a whole.
So I want to ask you, what's your story? How did you get into the tech space? And then in your position today, how did you become the CEO of Sayfer?
Well, I have a long road behind me, I would say. I started, I think my initial step in tech in general was when me and my friend, we were pretty young after high school. We were trying to do a startup, not very interesting stuff. You probably guessed it, but we did not had an exit. We had no idea what we were doing at the time, but we had a lot of motivation and passion regarding high tech in general, developing something, building a nice product everyone would love. And I learned a lot through it. Then I understood how much I don't know. So I learned how to program, and I work in big tech company. I was a developer. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine actually, was in the cybersecurity industry. He used to work in the Israeli government. And he told me what he's doing in his day-to-day job in a big cyber security company. I was fascinated. It was like, wow, I didn't know stuff like this were impossible. Like he pretty much showed me how he hack every system he wants. And I was like, what? I had no idea it was possible. It was really interesting for me, and I asked him to teach me. So he did. And this is how I got to the cybersecurity industry. I then went to work in the Israeli government as well as a cybersecurity researcher. I used to do a lot of white hat hacking, meaning I hacked to big companies, and I mean like really big, like insurance and telecommunication. Yeah, the biggest companies in my country. I used to hack them for fun and just tell them how I did it. It was really fun technical wise. And they always want me like to come and work for them or as a contractor or something like that, because they understood how not secure they are and how easy to reach them. So I did. I start work with one as a contractor and then with the second one, and very fast my week and my time got drained. I had no more time to give to these companies. And then I thought like, okay, maybe there is some business opportunity here. And I founded the Sayfer alongside with a partner. He's currently the CTO. And this is what we do, basically. We hack companies and protocols and tell them how we did it so they can prevent the bad guys from do this.
Awesome. So can you explain a little bit more about what your services are and what you do with Sayfer Security?
Here at Sayfer, we try and make companies more secure. There is a lot of ways to do it. And we try to take the role of some sort of trusted advisor, meaning we help the C executives understand where those security risks are and how they can mitigate them. And we do this by either providing active testing, meaning active approach for cyber. So let's say you have a bank, you hire us and we try to hack to your bank. It's a website, mobile application, it can be a blockchain bank. We will try to hack it and we will write a very detailed report on how we did it. So
Okay.
this is the very, so you know, then your developer gonna take this report and fix everything and you'll be much more secure than before. This is the more active approach. We also take the defensive side and consulting side, where we tell companies, listen, you should use this technology or this technology because they are much more secure. You should buy this product. It's not our product. It's just general, let's say, antivirus. You should buy an antivirus because otherwise you're not secure. So we take these two approaches alongside analyze the risk of the business. So every business has its own risk regarding cyber. It's sometimes very easy to analyze them. Sometimes it's very hard. We help the executives do this and basically providing them a suite of services and products that make them much more secure.
Wonderful. So the Web3 space is really growing right now. So I want to know, what vulnerabilities do you currently see in the Web3 space and how is Sayfer addressing those vulnerabilities?
Yes, so we, as I mentioned, we specialize in Web3 and crypto security. This is almost everything we do. Uh, and as you said, the vulnerabilities in Web3 are rising in a crazy pace. There is more and more hacks every day, and there is a reason for it. There is a lot of money. Every new project is basically its own bank, and we work with real banks and they have teams of security people, and every protocol that get like hundred and thousand of millions of dollars in its contract, they barely have even one person regarding security. So this is like crazy new tech that emerging, and everything is very different. There is a lot of money, and hackers have very high incentive to basically try to hack these contracts. Now, we at Sayfer, we analyze a lot of historical hacks in terms of test analysis and data analysis. So when we work with a protocol, we know what is the very common ways for hackers to hack this protocol. Let's say you have a lending pool. So we know there is a high chance someone gonna use your flash loan to hack you in some way or to abuse your flash loan features. So basically, after understanding the risk of the business, we try and help them mitigate these vulnerabilities. There are very regarding your question where the vulnerabilities is. So it's very dependent on the project, like exchanges, so centralized exchanges, you probably get your private key stolen. This is very common, so you need a way to mitigate this. Lending protocol, you probably, your smart contract probably gonna have a vulnerability if you didn't done a good audit. And hackers gonna exploit this and drain your contract. So there are a lot of vulnerabilities, and you need to understand what are the most relevant for you.
I know you are working a lot with smart contracts too. So I want to know, why is it important that smart contracts are audited, and what's your process for auditing the smart contract?
Yes, so you're very right. It's very important to audit smart contracts. And the reason is because it's the easiest way to take money from. So hackers go for this. And we uh, and we try to I mean, today's is pretty good notions that you should audit your contract. a lot of investors go and look in your documentation. If you don't have audit, it's going to look very bad in terms of your project, and people won't gonna for reason not gonna invest in your project because no one likes their funds being stolen. So it's important either to show for investor and either for not get hacked. We actually did an analysis of smart contract hacks, and for specific market, there is about 90% chance of getting more hacked if you don't audit your smart contract.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a very
because
high likelihood.
yeah, because I mean, security is hard. Security in Web3 is much harder. And if you don't hire professionals, you're probably gonna do it much worse than a professional, like any other field. Like if you try to defend yourself and not hire a lawyer, if it's a simple case, you might get it good. If it's a complex case, it's not the smartest idea. There is a reason for professionals in the common economy, and here at the smart contracts, it's much more important than ever because it is hard to understand all the moving parts that can create a vulnerability. And developers are good at developing smart contracts, auditors good at finding the vulnerabilities. It's a different game, different skill. Like this is why I need to bring outsiders that it his expertise. And regarding to how we're doing smart contract auditing, so we first understand the business logic behind the contract. So it's very easy to just run an automated tool and scan the contract, but sadly for the project, hackers know more better than this, and they know to analyze the contract themselves. So we need to mimic their style. So we understand the logic behind the contract. We understand what the code's supposed to do, what features the code have, and stuff like this. And after we really understand the business behind the contract, we start and find these edge cases, places the developer maybe didn't notice. Maybe they copy the code from very known protocol, but they didn't copy everything. So the missing part is important to mitigate a vulnerability. And we also look for non-vulnerabilities. Maybe they copy old code, maybe code with old compilers. And there are several standards, but everything is still very, very early stage. So we use these standards, but we also add our own tests. And every time we found a new novel approach, we write about it. We have like internal data center, and we teach our auditors. And this way we provide even a better coverage than just go for the standards.
You're constantly learning with this.
Yeah, there is a lot of learning in this because it's a very complex area, and there is always new stuff, new technology. Every new technology brings much more vulnerabilities, and this is like it's not just correct for Web3. It was the same in Web2 and in Web1. There was like everything was hackable when the internet just started. Like people in their garage could basically shut down the whole internet. And then it got much more stable. It then happened in Web 2. So it was so easy to just steal data from intercepting the network. There was not even a basic defense system. And now in Web 3, you can open Reddit News or any other hacking news, and every day there is another 100 million getting stolen. It's crazy to think about it, but the people want, and for a reason, people want this new technology. And on the other end, it's not stable enough in terms of security. There is a lot to learn, and a lot of stuff to still do, even basic stuff. There is no firewall for smart contracts. This is something that has been in the internet for ages. So antivirus for Web3, nothing still exists. We need to develop it together.
The space is growing so quickly, and I mean your team's learning so much on the go. I want to know though, where do you see Sayfer in the next 5 years? And what kinds of problems you think you'll be helping solve, and what kinds of technologies will you be using?
So we think about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great question because we see a lot of other companies specializing in smart contract auditing, and everyone tried to find a new and better way to audit and maybe edit this test when you audit and check these features. And it's important. But we believe there is a lot of people already tackling these problems.
Okay.
What we barely see, and this is the place we want to be in 5 years, is the industry leaders in terms of how to secure your business, not just your contract, your whole business as a Web3 crypto-based business. And this is very hard. Today, if you want to know what you need in order to secure your business, there is barely any manual and any tutorial and anything on how to do it. There is how to secure specific scene, like specific area inside your business, like your smart contract, maybe your web application, but how to do it as a whole. And this holistic approach for cyber is something we believe is very lacking in the industry. And this is where we're trying to be. And this is where we come from. Like we did it in
Mm-hmm.
Web 2, and we now going to do it in Web 3. And there is a whole different game, but we believe that after learning a lot along the way and consulting more and more businesses on how to secure and always analyzing new approach and new vulnerabilities and hacks in the wild, we will add additional services and additional products to the suite we provide to these businesses, and basically create like a bulletproof layer around the business from hackers.
It's definitely something that's needed. And I think a lot of companies don't even realize that they need all these other services and how vulnerable they can be in this new and growing world. So I'm glad that you're always
I
thinking
can't agree
ahead.
more. I
Mhm.
can't agree more. There is this notion in the Web3 and crypto projects that if a project did an audit, it's safe, and it's not, because if you even need one employee to steal the private keys and everything is lost. And it happens many times. So internal job, like this is a huge problem. And even if the project is safe, but someone send a phishing attack in the Discord community, so your funds gonna get stolen. So there is so many other angles to defend from others and vulnerabilities in the smart contract, which is also important. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying there is other important stuff. It's like in the smart contract audit, it's like make sure you have a good lock on your door, which is very important if you don't like thieves in your house. But you also need to check about your windows, because if you leave your windows open, anyone can get open. And the industry, most of the project in the industry doesn't seems to understand this right now.
I want to ask you before we go, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience, either about cybersecurity or maybe even starting their own company in the tech space?
I think it's definitely a blue ocean. So anyone who are looking to start a new company, you can definitely do it. If you think I can do it because I don't have an idea, you can send me a message like Twitter, LinkedIn, Telegram, whatever. And I have many ideas I don't have time to do. So I will freely give them to you. And go for it. This is a very nice, interesting tech being currently developed. And most importantly, stay secure and try to learn a little bit about security to make sure you're not doing like really bad stuff in terms of security.
I'll have Nir's info down below too if you want to reach out to him. And yeah, thank you so much for offering to help too if anybody has a project that they want to discuss with you. We're all about
For
growing
sure.
more in the tech space and the blockchain space, and yeah, making sure it's more transparent, secure, and being used to make the world a better place.
Awesome.
Well, that's it for us today. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. Feel free to reach out to Nir if you want to talk more, and we'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.